Hello. Today I wanted to chat with you a little bit about the perception that we have of everything that happens in our life. Whew, you know, just to narrow things down a little bit. Um, to start off, I'd like to give you the view from the psychologist's perspective on what happens when we dream. So there's a lot of ideas about what dreams are and how to interpret them, and there's all these silliness around these dictionaries, the dream dictionaries kind of thing, where you can look up a word and this means that in your dream, and that's all kind of BS, to be honest with you, because really what's going on is that everything that goes on in your dream, every person that is in your dream, and the situations that you go through are really just representations of you. And it is really, you have to understand that your psyche is constructed like a rebus. Don't know if that's pronounced that way in English, but basically, these equations where you have symbols put together, and then depending on what the words are, or what they sound like, it comes into that, oh, the word that we're looking for is this and that. Sounds like, that kind of, yeah. So this is how your psyche actually functions. It functions with symbols. It doesn't function with logic the same way that your conscious mind is doing. And so it's the typical stress situations that you can find very often in dreams about, all of a sudden you're back in your high school and you're naked. It's that typical one that you always hear in the movies, right? Or just common one I know for myself of being late for somewhere and you just can't move and you're running and it's as if you're running in mud or something, and or no one understands you. You're trying to find the right bus to go and there's no words coming out, or no one's understanding you. And all of this is just a representation of something that your psyche is trying to tell you that you are not really seeing in your conscious state. Not so much of what's happening in the dream, but the emotional state that you are in. Okay? And then the different situations in the dream are kind of keywords or um, signs. What comes to mind is a dream from many, many, many years ago, in my early 20s, when I had this dream that I was observing my boyfriend at the time being intimate with my best friend at the time. There was no truth in this dream. Um, but obviously, there was something that my psyche was trying to trigger in me to come to some kind of understanding, a clairvoyance about a situation for myself, because it's not by hazard that these two very emotionally triggering symbols were there, as in the boyfriend, the love symbol, and trust, and all of that, with the best friend, not just any friend, with the best friend. So basically, it is my psyche trying to make me see something, and this is also why we have recurrent dreams, dreams that keep coming back, or for instance, we keep having stress dreams for a while or something like that. Anyway, I wasn't here to talk about dreams. So the reason that I'm telling you this is that what if maybe you should approach everything that happens in your life in the waking state exactly the same way? We have all had those moments where it just seems as if everything is just going downhill. Or just those days where everyone is just extra annoying. We can be in a confident place, and then all of a sudden, whatever it is, for some reason, something triggers us and we feel really self-conscious. And then it's as if it's like Velcro, like it brings other things in, that latches onto it. Law of attraction. You start to focus on one thing and then that accumulates and it escalates and just becomes worse and worse. And then all of a sudden, all you see around you are these signs of, well, lack of confidence. Basically, you should not actually believe that you have any reason to be here. You're unworthy, you're ugly, you're this, you're that. And we see it all around us. Um, and the one thing that all of these situations have in common, actually, at the end of the day is you. So the common denominator when we go through these situations in life is that it's you who experience them. What if it is not the world around you that has changed? What if everything is actually like it has always been? And the one thing that has changed is your state of mind. Obviously, this is really hard to think when we're in that situation. Sorry, I'm trying to find the right words here. Because when we're in the situation where it's escalating, we will not have a tendency to step out and be calm and just like observe ourselves and be like that observer and the witness and, oh, this is me. But when we take a step back, trying to not react in the situations, or in the evening when we're at home and there's no one else there, if we can then sit down and start to observe the things that happen around us, can we, instead of thinking that all of this is ultimately the truth, maybe it is the reflection of my own state of mind, as if I had brought these situations into my life subconsciously as a way to trigger something for me to see, just like in the dream. That I'm actually bringing these situations in and I'm escalating them, making them worse actually, if I don't deal with them. So that at one point it's so in my face that there's nothing else to do than just face it. And maybe I brought this on me for me to actually become aware of it. What comes to mind as well is this expression that I got from a show that I watched many years ago that I loved, and it was a woman saying that she felt like she was a loaf of bread and everyone wanted a slice of her. It's that typical, when it just feels like everyone's just asking this and that from you, and you're like, why are you all so demanding of me? What if they're not actually demanding? What if they've always been exactly the way they have always been, but your mental state is different, which is why you're reacting to it in this way? Now, how will this help me? Well, it will help me, first of all, to step away from the emotional trigger in it and instead then see, okay, what have I done to my own personal mental state right now? How have I put myself in this situation? And how can I then nurture myself back into feeling good again? So obviously you might say to me then, yeah, but where's the truth in what you're saying? Like, there's so little we actually know about the functioning of the mind, that what do you know about that this is the true way of how it is? And you're perfectly right. There's very valid argument. But then in that case, let me ask you the following question instead. Which of the two perspectives will get you out of the discomfort that you're in? Is it is truly everyone else who's difficult, or it is truly signs everywhere that I'm not worthy enough, that I'm not capable of anything? Not me, I haven't changed, it's everything else around me. Or is it the perspective that I just presented to you? Basically, nothing has really changed around me. I have put myself in a mental state of distress, of discomfort, of sadness, of depression, whatever it might be, of anger, very often anger. And where does the anger come from? Why is everything making me angry? Is it really that they are acting in a way, or is it that anger is triggered inside of me? And what is that anger trying to compensate? So which of the two perspectives will help you get out of the discomfort? Knowing that you can't control what's going on around you, you can only control your own experience. And also, which of the two perspectives is actually going to be beneficial for growth? As in, where do I question my own experience and try to make my way out of it? That is what happens when we grow. Finding a problem, resolve the problem, come out on the other side. Carl Jung said, we never actually solve our problems. We outgrow them. So there you go.